Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn, and I'm Shawn. And for those of you who kind of new to this whole thing, doing the podcast here at Gem Shopping Network on the YouTube channel or through the gemshoppingnetwork.com site. 7 years we've been doing the podcast. 9 years, a live show prior to that. So we have been out there bringing you, and as a client that early on said, and I'll never forget it, she goes, I know that gem shopping and your show is supposed to be about show and sell, but you make it like show and tell. And that was the greatest early compliment. And the whole idea, something different that you'll see in watching this show, different than any other, is that it's built for educating you. And as a byproduct of that, you're also allowed, and we make the specimen available for you to purchase. We do not have, and here's what's important, because so many other kind of situations have multiples. Occasionally we will, like if it's a parcel of something, inexpensive usually, but other than that, we have one-ups. So that's the sad part, because so many of you as part of the family, when I hear that someone else wanted the same item but it already sold, and that kind of makes me feel bad. Now, the other thing is, you can, on that phone number, and here's the other thing about watching me and enjoying this show, is I'm connected not to a basement, but to a state-of-the-art facility with the most modern equipment is shooting this show right now. It will be edited at the highest level of technology. We have a 27-year network on TV, and of course for many, many decades now, been 24/7. The Gem Shopping Network that sells some of the most beautiful high-end and medium price point pieces. Plus, there's some other, items, but I tell you what, the origin of it was the founder did sell gems and minerals and things like that. But now, the only vestige left of that is this show. And in this show, we can actually sell items, and do, for less than $10. So you can buy several items at the same time. 24/7. You can't sleep at 3 a.m. Go to this podcast, and that phone number links directly into the studio where there is live operators. And here's the thing about older shows that I really need to make clear, because it actually happened on something with Brad. So I actually use this reasoning, Brad. So, I had set aside that Axonite for Brad because he really did want one, and pretty much kind of placed a standing order a long time ago. Not that that's always possible, but just the way it worked out. Because I had showed him a stone I was cutting that I had committed to him as I had the other one to someone else. And so I temporarily misplaced the stone, and so can't find it and haven't been able to. And I have now, again, a little kind of concern, because I made several forays into where I thought it might be. So when this amazing other Axonite came to, I felt like, I needed to honor it to Brad first. But unbeknownst to Brad, when he went to order it, he thought he missed out, because they told him it was already, that it wasn't available. So in actuality, behind the scenes, which I have a little influence there, I had already set it up so that stone was set aside for Brad in particular and not to be sold to anyone else until we knew whether Brad had wanted it or not. And so it didn't show available in the system for that reason. And so the neat thing, though, you will find out when I read the comments. So let's get going on the comments because I have a lot I want to show you. I have new goodies. I have the really fantastic trivia, which was a what am I? And that, I don't do it too often, but a lot of you really enjoy that. And I do as well. And it was a little bit deeper level on some cases for extra credit. So we'll cover that. All right. So let's get to the comments so we can get to the rest. Starting off, we have from Miss Jan. Hi, Shawn. You probably knew this was coming, and I'll venture to say others will follow. You don't need necessities. You are who you are, and teeth or no teeth, you are still going to be the same guy we all love and watch. I hope it ends there because much further, and yeah, you might see a tear roll. You are who you are. Let me go to the next line. I already read that one. I got some goodies. I got some goodies, the Tanzanian opal cat's eyes. I really love that Brazilian yellow quartz, if you come across another one. Also, real quick, there's a site where they sell a Lexite. I don't know for sure if they are real or what, but they have quite a few. They told me they weren't genuine like you have. Thanks for being you. Shawn, I've been a fan since you know when, and it saddened me to hear you say, paraphrasing, that if you left this earth, it felt like you knew something we don't. While we don't need to know what it is, it's okay. I'm glad you said it. It just jolted me and made my heart go haywire. Anyway, I hope you're okay. I know we all won't make it out alive. Just want you to know that I love you. I love your shows, and I will miss you when the time comes. Thank you for hearing me out. Hopefully I got my message out. Oh, before I send this, hugs, and more hugs. Okay, Miss Jan, you you're really pressing the boundaries there emotionally. And yeah, I did have that conversation last week because I had to have it with myself as far as, my son, like I said, there's nowhere for my rocks and minerals to go. And, if certainly Raven would be welcome to him. But I was just thinking that, while I have the ability and while I have this very incredible platform that I'm speaking to you right now on, that I've had for 7 years, that what better opportunity than to use it to, I don't even want to use the word sell-off, but I guess to swap extensive items of my collection that I've had for decades and know so intimately. And, there's going to be some pieces that I actually have sold that the entire provenance of them is much more intimate. But I've actually been afraid of how the backlash from some of you, how you might view me selling something that would be that emotionally connected to me for one reason or another. I don't have a son, and of course, I don't have, well, let me finish that. I don't have a son that cares anything to do about a rock. And with his career, he travels and moves constantly. constantly. So they have a minimal amount of items that they ever have, knickknacks and stuff. And it would just be pointless. So he wouldn't even want, and I've asked him, a mineral specimen or something decorative. No. Doesn't want anything like that. Nothing heavy, nothing. And so I honor that. And, my items would just be a burden to him to have to deal with. So, I just thought, and as you can see, and as I've said, 4,000 items, 7 years, and I still really can't tell that that anything is really missing. Except I know individual pieces that have been really close in those. But out of 4,000 items, the percent of my personal collection has been extensive that I have shared with all of you. And so, even if 25% of them have, the first few years, no, and then I had some other outside stuff and whatnot. But as you've seen in the last year, you've seen a lot of neat, wonderful, incredible stuff last couple of years, I guess. And it's been getting better and better and more unique and deep as we get deeper into items that now, the big thing for me is to know where they have went, that I have actually offered and selling these items in my collection to, it just feels like family members. And it was always going to be that way, I knew. And they were always going to be my savings account. Mine. This is just speaking personally. That's what I did with my money, my savings, was I put it into what I knew best. And that was what you see before you. So, as far as, yes, it did sound a little distressful. And the truth be told regarding my teeth, and I have some skin issues, and there are some, ever since I had gotten COVID and long COVID, I do have some health issues but I will address them. And, there's still a lot to be prospected. And I still need to get back in that creek. I just need to get my tractor back, or another one. And all that mess caused me to lose it. And so there's still a lot of dirt to move. Now, so thank you. Hugs back to you, Miss Jan, and thank you, and love you for your concern. And I know you've been through a lot as well, so you certainly are a good one that can relate to that. Miss Cindy in Pennsylvania says, hello, Rock family. Wowzer, what a show. Love it all. I love the Bria Lake cut gems, and now I own some Bria Lake amethyst dangles. See, that's so neat. Now I know where the Bria Lake dangles went. I could never remove those 14 karat caps. You know how hard it to have created those to make them fit to start with. And they were nice weight to them. And those Bria Lake amethysts, where you could see by the zoning, they were genuine little amethyst Bria Lakes. And all 5 of them, so what, $68 or something? So inexpensive. It would have been, I was going to be surprised if those didn't sell. So listen to what she does. Okay. I am going to use the 2 smaller for earrings and the remaining 3 on a chain and switch between them and my light pendant. A double link gold chain, an light pendant, 5 amethyst dangles, all in gold under $200 is what she said. That is an amazing deal. Thank you, sir, she says. Thank you back. Trivia. Okay, so I'm going to show the specimens at the end. So we'll do the answers now. Chrysoprase, the left one from Australia, and the right one, she says, from Ethiopia. The other specimen, pyromorphite from Arizona, is the location. And the third one, and of course, for extra credit on the second question. On the first question, you had to get the country of origin and what it was. So, and there were two specimens, and you had to say either. So I'll tell you, it was chrysoprase is the right answer, and you had to either tell me which one, the country of origin. They were either going to be Australian on both, or one Australian and the other Ethiopian. So that's what you'll hear for answers. So the other specimen, answer number 2, pyromorphite. And Miss Cindy said from Arizona. 3 was asbestos, and that is correct. Pyromorphite is correct. I love what it is, but it strains my brain. LOL. Miss Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Miss Gabby in Florida. Just a quick hello from one of my few and far between road trips that don't involve rock hounding of some type. On our way to Cooperstown, New York for a baseball tournament with our grandsons. Huh. Well done to them. Too bad won't have time to do a side trip up to Herkimer, as Miss Barbara suggested to me. Herkimer Diamonds. Absolutely. And yes, it would give you a workout to break that rock. Only that and the chunky Gauss smaragdite are true, real kind of digging where you have to use a crack hammer. And the bigger, the better. Whatever you can swing. Since you were talking about garnets and sweets of same, I'm going to say you were referencing Mr. F. As far as the vendor. And yes, indeed, that is who I was referencing, and who I also do the high-end stone setting for. And where at the opportunity that I've offered all of you, I know that other vendors would easily snap up some of those gemstones I've offered at the same kind of pricing. So, good chance to get in on those pieces that were left. I know the mint tourmaline sold, but I think there were still a couple beauties from last week's show. Check out the show and then see what's available. And here's the other thing I want to say regarding see what's available. So a lot of the inventory is held for like 3 weeks or so, up to 4 weeks that you can order it. Now, after that, it's returned to me and the show memo is closed. Now, what that means, if you call in on an item after it has been closed, in other words, the goods returned to me, in the gem shopping system, it will show as the item is not available. It won't say that it is sold. So you can kind of assume that and ask that does it say sold? And if they say no, it just says not available, then it means I still have it and it would be available to you. So, because I would just get it for you. So write down item numbers, they're important. And if you get that answer, it doesn't mean that necessarily that it's not still available. So Miss Gabby goes on to say, can't resist a good what am I trivia. My answers are chrysoprase from Australia. So that's meaning she's saying chrysoprase from Australia for both. Pyromorphite. And since you love your USA gems, I'm going to go out on a limb and say pyromorphite from Idaho. And the last one, asbestos. Okay. Best to everyone, Miss Gabby. Next, we have Mr. Brad in Pennsylvania. To Shawn, the Raven, Dave, Asif, Latif, Gem Shopping Crew, and the whole Rock family. You got them all, Brad. Well done. Hope all are well and getting better. Per your recommendation, I picked up the fluorescent specimen. Yeah, if it's the manganese calcite, you can expect if there's manganese involved in that calcite that baby will glow. Now, remember, if you are ever working with iron items, remember iron acts as a fluorescent quencher. in many, many cases. So keep that in mind. If you're in a situation where you're wondering if something is going to fluoresce or not, and you know what it is, and if the composition has iron in it, or if there are other iron minerals nearby, a lot of times there's enough iron that can leach into them, like dolomite. Dolomite will absorb iron from chalcopyrite nearby and whatnot. But anyway, iron is a fluorescent quencher, and remember that. I am sending back. Oh, here we go. Wait. Per your recommendation, I picked up the fluorescent specimen. I thank you for the axonite. It arrived the day before my anniversary. Magic, eh? Boy, we talk about the magic of the show. And the way that axonite was held here, Brad thought that it wasn't available and was sold, when in reality, we were holding it for him. So then customer service reached out to him in a way that the timing turned out to be where he got the item, not notified that it was available for him on, but actually received the item the day before his anniversary. And he writes, magic, eh? I had called in for it right away, but was told it was unavailable. So I gave up. Fortunately, your staff called me a week or so later because they were still holding it for me. Yep. Don't worry about finding the dopstick axonite. The one you sent is beautiful. Yeah, I don't blame you. The one I did send you is beautiful. And it has all the neat properties that you want in axonite for the color changing. And it's a beautiful stone. Beautiful stone. So, and a beautiful saturated color. I love that gem. And it's a really neat story behind it. And someone else, it might have gotten that parcel, and I would have never known. And I'm glad, though, because it could have always been traveled as an unknown stone and as a garnet. It just took spotting it and looking at it the right way and a keen eye to all of a sudden notice there was something a little bit different about the color looking at it through the side. So Brad goes on to say this. I am sending back the pair of Koroit opals from last week so that Miss Penny can have them. I am also including a pair of stones for you to keep. So you have to look at them and tell me what they are and where they came from. I would love to do that. Wow. Brad, that's fantastic. And I'm sure that she'll, so of course, no problem. You can, you'll get returned, credited as anybody still. Items in this show, of course, you can always return them. And especially then for such a noble reason, because in actuality, I do not have that low-end opal that she was looking for. And here is where it is the pass it forward concept. Because Miss Penny was looking for an opal, like, remember the $8 one I had? So that she could give it to a friend who didn't have one. And so she was looking to do a kind deed with it. Of course, I only had the one $8 one. But what I did have was a parcel with two, where the less expensive of the two. So she was looking for a inexpensive one to give away and then one better one for herself. And so that this one parcel of two stones could have fulfilled both of those needs. And the fact of the matter is I do not have any others that would have worked for Miss Penny at all. So we'll certainly make sure, and I'll tell Christy in inventory to set those aside and what their purpose will be for, Miss Penny. So if you want to get that, I'm sure you still have the item number from that show, and put in the request for that item. I'm sure it'll be back when he's returning it. Then that would be great. The only other thing I have that I brought in that I have marked as set aside for Miss Penny, but I don't think I'll need to put that on there now, is only one other Croy opal, and it was a bigger one, more expensive, and wouldn't have worked for your giveaway you want to do. So, Brad, that is a amazing solution that I could not have provided. So, I do thank you for stepping in, because that was a great deal that those opals were, and I could not have replicated it for her. I was wondering about the R stones that you have been selling, and what it refers to, of course, is the radioactive ones. Have you ever built a cloud chamber so you see what the particle trails look like? And have you tried deflecting the particles with your neodymium magnet? Wow, I'm telling you what, Brad, man after my own heart. I could see us hanging out and running some real kind of crazy experiments. If you only really knew the other eccentric part of the chemistry side to me and some of my experiments, all, of course, as part of what it takes to be a miner. And you know what? And going back to Miss Jan's comment about my teeth, and I'm getting more and more self-conscious about them, and so it makes me not want to smile as much and that kind of thing. I do want a solution, but of course the solutions are not inexpensive, so I have to figure that out. Food and shelter first, right? Doing those kind of experiments, and it is exactly what I love to do. And so, no, I have not been able to create a cloud chamber, and then the neodymium magnet. I didn't even think about that possibility, but absolutely that would be doable. So, how fun. I bet you did well in chemistry class, or blew it up, or a combination of both. He says, ta-ta for now. Stay well all. Mr. Brad. Miss Elisa in Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Wow, what a great show. Loved how you all were able to get the UV fluorescence to show like that on camera. Yep, that was a combo effort of Asif and Dave.
And you.
And me. Thank you. Thank you, Asif. Couldn't credit myself. Great job. My answers to this week's trivia are: Chris Praise on the left is from Australia, and Ethiopia on the right. Pyromorphite from Pennsylvania. I remember this specimen, she puts in quotes. The talc, she writes, from North Carolina. My favorite item of the week was the lavender gray cat's eye from Madagascar. Take care, everyone, and have a good week. Yeah, that was, I think, the sillimanite that she was referring to that I featured. And of course, not only do you learn about items, but you can buy them as well. Okay, so talc from North Carolina. That is going to be, I would have to go to the judges on that, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Miss Penny in Quebec. First, Miss Penny, I want to say that I have your work order now and will be getting to that. So that's pretty exciting for you, and I am glad that I have them to make up for you. She says, hello, Shawn, the lovely Raven. I have amazing GSN crew and fellow rockhounds. I hope everyone is well. Trivia, left, chrysoprase from Australia. On the right, chrysoprase from Ethiopia. It looks exactly like my specimen, she puts in quotes. You know, that always really, really kind of helps. And it is not cheating. If you have a specimen of what I am featuring, then all the power to you. You know, there you go. You know, you can't be wrong. The pyromorphite says from Germany. They are the only unusual green gemstone and origin coming to me. And then for the last specimen, asbestos. Okay. Thank you for another great show. Love that huge oval amethyst. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. I did get the shoral tourmaline and the Peruvian rhodochrosite. That rhodochrosite specimen was really nice. And it's one of those that it is really fun to look into with magnification and explore visually that way. You know, when you have the dolomite crystals growing on top of the quartz crystals like that and hanging off the edge, well, rhodochrosite, hanging off the edge, and then the pyrargyrite, say that one 3 times, which is that red mineral. There is actually a silver, containing silver in it. So that will be really fun to look at just how much is in and around those. And it is from a fantastic, well-known Peruvian mine for stunning specimens. Let's see. I am slowly advancing a couple of projects and starting to get very excited about the gem painting. So am I, actually. That will be a brand new challenge for me, and I'm looking forward to it. Would you happen to have a stone close to a canary yellow color for crushing? Also a yellow gold color. I would need more of that color. I wish everyone a wonderful week and hope to see you next week. Miss Penny. Exactly, Miss Penny. Today, specifically, I brought in gemstone parcels or crushed gemstones for gemstone painting. And I am getting into it now. And I'm going to show you my bag. I'm starting to set aside those stones. And I remember I started a couple years ago actually crushing up like some emeralds I had and whatnot, tumbled ones that I've offered before for the green. And I think I really want to create my own painting, and I'm kind of psyched about doing that as well. So we can do that, and anyone else who wants to do that along together. I'll feature that picture, but you have to get in on these different stones now as I'm offering them if you think you're going to need them. So we'll probably limit availability to 1 parcel per person, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn says, hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, or it should be, hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Really varied show. Something for everyone this week. And right on time for afternoon tea, 3:30. Thank you for the lovely hematite-colored crystal cluster as the trivia prize, which she won last week, and for successfully polishing up that Kos andradite. Your pronunciation of pyrargyrite was perfect. Online, I'm following daily coverage of the new International Gem, Mineral, and Fossil Show in China. They have been selling their specimens to Western dealers who sell them at our shows. It'll be interesting to see how they present and market them for themselves. It will be. But it's always one of those buyer beware things, because even at some of the finest markets, I think I told you before, and I have a picture of it if I could go back and find it, where a stunning multi-mineral cluster was being offered to me, and it was at a expensive price, like around, I think it was like $1,800. Technically, it probably could have been more. But it didn't take long, and this is just doing it through pictures, for me to discover that there were 2 of the crystals featured on this specimen that would not be found together geologically. And that's where a little bit deeper knowledge comes in. that was my first red flag. When I looked at the others and then tied it all in together, and it was a complete, what do you call it? Forgery, fake, ripoff. And very craftily, they shaped and cemented these different specimens together, and it looked for a very, you know what it would have been good for? A decorative piece, even in a rockhound's house, but one, because it was just, decorative and colorful, but one that was never going to be found in nature like that. But if you considered it as just a work of mineral art, then okay, it was mineral art, but not as mineral art wasn't worth nearly what they were asking for. So anyway, you never know what you're going to get, and it's so important to know who you're dealing with, and the longer you can be dealing with someone, oftentimes the better it works out for you in the end. Let's see. As to the trivia, both green samples are chrysoprase, and both are from Australia. Okay, that is a great answer. The plate of tiny green crusts, I seem to remember, was pyromorphite from the Wheatley mine in Chester County, Pennsylvania. Well, isn't that exacting? I have friends who live nearby. And the fibrous sample is asbestos or chrysotile from North Carolina. Barbara, leave it to you to get origins there. Hope everyone had a lovely Memorial Day weekend and remembered the reason for the holiday, as I talked about last week. Of course, it also represents the unofficial beginning of summer with its crippling heat and humidity. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, well, that's why God gave us air conditioning and ice cream. Yes, provided you have a coolant in your air conditioner, and at the moment I do not, and not even in my truck. So spending a little time in the Jeep there, because her Jeep is all fixed up and she loves her Jeep. Okay, so those are the comments. And we really had some very, very wise people answering the what am I? So let's go and take a look at the specimens that I showed you everyone last week and now we'll go back over them. So here was the question. It was, what am I on either of these two? Okay, and then as part of the question, it was, where am I from? And then that would be whether they were both Australian, or one Australian and one Ethiopian, or both Ethiopian. Now, the answer being, it is amazing and how similar the matrix or the crust is on both of these, considering they are a continent apart. This is extremely high grade, about as good as it gets, chrysoprase from Australia. Look at that. That's the apple green color, and it is, just free of inclusions. I've kept this piece really for me to cut at my leisure at some point in my life, because it will cut a stunning, look at that, stunning, pretty much inclusion-free cabochon, or maybe carving, or whatever I want to do, but it has been a joy simply possessing it. And I have had it now, and I actually got this in Australia myself, and I can tell you how long ago that was. Because I know I was there, how old my son was there when I got to go there. So right now you're talking about over 36 years ago. So that long I've had it. This, look at how similar the material and the way it is found. Well, it is because it is formed similarly. The quality of this is really as fine as much of the Australian material, but it's from Ethiopia. Yep, Ethiopia. This was a relatively new discovery, and this piece was actually leftover, basically, because the nicer pieces I sold all of you, and this I kept as a educational sample, as I'm doing now with it. It would certainly cut some stones, but since it was, looks like a piece of fried chicken, actually, with that crust, it's gonna make me hungry. But you can see that the qualities are similar. But when it comes down to it, though, if you take the finest of Ethiopian chrysoprase that I've ever seen, and the finest Australian, the Australian has it beat. And there's just a certain richness to the color. Now, I think I did it one time as a trivia question, and do all of you remember what creates this unique and distinctive color in chrysoprase? What is the impurity? So that's not necessarily the question, but just mull it around and see if you can remember it on your own. Okay, the other specimen I showed you was, as I move these two away, what am I here? Now, remember, if you look close at these actually have like a top where there's, I guess, all these additional little crystals that grow out of, it just doesn't terminate. It looks almost, what am I thinking of? Like a sea anemone, I think, because the top of these are like broccoli florets. I don't know. And you can kind of see that right here. And if you're never going to actually get to see this if I don't show it to you right now in almost real time. Let me wipe this off because, of course, I go everywhere with this particular plastic, but high power magnification, and it you'll see why. It's like 35 power. There, look at some individual crystals, and you're going to see that there is that unique form to the body, but then at the top, there we go. I'm getting a side profile of one right there in the middle. Now let me turn the angle because there's two of them to the side so you can see the profile. There we go. Let me see if I can keep doing that. There we go. That is an excellent shot. Only right here on the Gem Collectors Show at Gem Shopping Network. Okay, that's perfect. It shows exactly, you see the body of the crystal. Then it comes up to the top and it kind of flares out in a group of other crystals. And that is unique to this particular type of mineral. So is the color. Now, look at that. Look at that. Now that would make an amazing color if you were painting with gemstones, but I don't think you certainly would want to take them and crush them up. Here is the other side, has additionally, the same thing, and that right there might be, I just have to look at that for fun, an excellent example that would have made it easier for me to show you. Yeah, right there. So you have, let me see, there we go. Wow, that's a great shot. I mean, it looks alien. It really does. That is pyromorphite. The three main places that I have actually sold it to you from this show have been Germany is one, China is another, And the third locality where this one is from is the Wheatley Mine in Pennsylvania, as Miss Barbara said. A great specimen, and I'm actually going to be offering that for sale during the show. The third item, and this was a neat specimen because it certainly gives you an idea of why asbestos has been made and listed as a toxic mineral causing cancer because it is an absolutely excellent insulator. You can see its fibrous nature. It can be woven. I remember I used to use, you couldn't buy it, but because it was so in demand on the amongst goldsmiths, it was an asbestos strip that you could just peel. You wetted it, peeled off what you need, lined your flask with it, and you could melt your molten metal in it, because it could take these extreme temperatures. And the bonus to it was you wouldn't contaminate your flask if you wanted to cast, say, white gold, and then you want to switch to yellow gold, and you could line that flask. Also, after you use a flask so many times, you get a buildup of it looks like a glass, but it's flux. It's actually what all of you would know as slag, except slag is basically the same kind of formation, except on a huge industrial scale where it's many feet across and inches deep. All these different colors that are produced from using a flux, which allows the metal to flow freer. So anyway, I used that stuff for years. Yeah. Luckily, that roll ran out and we couldn't get any more because it was so effective. And guess what? The replacement product, of course, didn't work nearly as well. Anyway, there's so many stories because I have done all of that and experienced all that, and good or bad or different. All right, you know what? Whoever, let's see, I know to actually be able to remember on, as far as the pyromorphite goes, the Wheatley Mine, well done there to Miss Barbara. And to remember that now technically, yes, talc, asbestos is related to talc, and that could be kind of an acceptable word, as is when Miss Barbara says that asbestos or chrysotile. Yeah, because it all belongs to kind of the chrysotile serpentine family, and I have actually mined it up there and showed you specimens of some well-defined, beautiful chrysotile serpentine. So anyway, this is my amazing specimen of asbestos from North Carolina. North Carolina, believe it or not, I mean, from the mines right up at Chunky Gal and whatnot, produces this material. This is one of the actually best specimens I've seen of it for the demonstration of how you could see breathing this, either when this is used in it was used like plasterboard is in that type of material. Because it was such a great insulator mixed in. So they powdered it, they wove it, they did all kinds of things with it, and then it caused cancer all along the way. So anyway, I love that specimen because it really demonstrates things very effectively. All right, so when I counted and figured out the answers, the the extra credits, and the counting that, like the number one answer, the main thing was to get the origin right on the two and weighed out the points and differences. We have a winner, and that winner is Miss Elisa. Miss Elisa, congratulations to you. You are this week's winner. You, well done. And well done to all of you. I hope y'all like the What Am I, because I like the What Am I too, and I think it adds a nice, neat depth, and it's something that all those items I didn't show in that current show. So you actually had to rely on knowledge and memory from the past. Now, let me show you what you have won. And this is the only one I have like this. I wish I could say I would have made it, but then I probably wouldn't have been offering it to give away. Look at this. This is a Mosaic Lightning Ridge Australian Opal Double. That's a mouthful. So it was neat because they used the two different known colors that make nice doublets. And I like the way they mosaiced it out all together. And it's a nice thick layer of opal used. And then let's see what the, yeah. So it looks like on black onyx. This was an old piece. I really liked it because it also was a old estate piece. I think there's even just some glue that can be taken off of that, but very attractive, very different, and very unique. Add it to your collection. Okay, let me put these items up and I'll be right back for the start of the show. Again, Awesome and Dave getting the color, nailing it exactly as the human eye sees it. And Asa's gotten up from the control booth and walked around and looked at it himself. As Dave and I are saying, no, you got to see it. It's not the actual color of the eye sees. And it always gets fixed. It always gets resolved. But it's amazing. It's not an easy science. There's all kinds. They got these things, and the guys walk around and they control all these lights from their phones, which, it probably sounds funny. You guys say, oh, of course, everyone could do that. But with all these different combinations and colors of lights that they have in here, and types of cameras, etc., this is not your in the basement or in the garage home podcast. I am so fortunate to have decades of knowledge of the people that shoot and bring you this show and produce it by way of the equipment and the school knowledge and practical knowledge, years and years, decades of years. So when I see this on the monitor, what the TV screen, what it would look like at your home, and then I'm the one that gets to see both at the same time. I can assure you, it is as close as we can replicate the actual color of the piece. Because only right here in the studio can the two be assessed in one eye shot, in one visual view. I am looking at the specimen and the TV screenshot, and it's like, wow, that's it. That's exactly it. And but again, it's a whole series of processes to get there. But who better than me to assess that? And I was always picky about the color starting off when I hear at the first studio. And I think I know I perturbed production to start with because I was like the new kid, but I was exacting still. I wanted to get it right. And so anyway, long story, got all kinds of tales I could tell you. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there is some interviews because it's like there's this need I have to share and get information out and stories. And a lot of times it's parts of my life that I wish my son could actually hear. But you guys a lot of times know more about me than him. But you certainly know more about this specimen than 99.99% of all the people on the planet. This is pyromorphite, and it is from the Wheatley mine, which from the 1860s to the 1920s, you can see the chemical formula at the bottom because I love giving you that kind of information. PB5, meaning there is 5 atoms of lead and 4 of TO is phosphate. And then the Cl is chlorine. So it's a lead chlorophosphate, something like that. And it comes out as these beautiful colors. It's a forms even within sand grains. So I had one specimen that it looked just like conglomerated sand grains, and upon closer inspection, some of the sand grains were these little crystals of pyromorphite kind of fused together. You can see that, some of these kind of run in some type of pattern. This is a double-sided specimen, but it really sits on its own wonderfully in this way, because that way, being double-sided, you're not going to mash any other crystals on the backside or whichever side is the front. Wonderful piece. Last one I have of it, and yes, Germany. I did have some from Germany, some amazing ones from Germany as well. This one happens to be the made in the USA, as Miss Gabby was right. Knowing Shawn, it would be a USA specimen. She was right about that. It was just from Pennsylvania. And as much as it shouldn't be discounted, I did say I was going to do a sale, which I didn't get to do last weekend. We were showing all kinds of new stuff. We're going to show new stuff. We're going to show things that you might or may not have seen before, but those items will be discounted, and this is going to be a substantial discount. I'm making this one now only $98, and it was $128, and I was, shouldn't budge off that, because that is the real value of something as unique as this piece. But again, I don't know. Miss Jan made me feel better about my teeth, but irregardless, I do need to do some maintenance, and yeah, it takes money. So yeah, there's things I have to do that I have to do. All right, now I don't know what order to show you guys these things. I'm 118, 26, 24. So just go along with me. What I'm going to show you next is a request by Miss Penny originally. So I am going to let's see. What item did I give you? I gave you 116.
11826.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And I have 3 parcels of these. I don't know what kind of quantity or how many of you might want to do the gemstone picture thing, but what I have here is what she was hoping that I would have, and that was something that would make a yellow sand. Now, hold on a minute. For those of you, you could go back to the last couple episodes because I showed this in each one, but in case you haven't, and let me show you anyway and refresh your memory. Gemstone paintings is one of the coolest things you can do, and it all was originated and emanated from the way to use leftover cutting material from the huge cutting centers in Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. And so let me show you. Now the glass was cracked. We used to sell these. This is an example of one, and well, it would be. I just have to take it out of the frame and put it in a new frame. And what you're seeing, of course, all this is going to be quartz. All this is white sand mixed with, I think there's a little blue. But as you come in here close, you're going to show you, and I'm going to offer like apatite. The blue is probably apatite. The green is let me get a pointer here. The green is going to be a mix, depending on the color, of anything from peridot to emerald. You have this color green. You could, depending on how and what you want to crush, you could use nephrite jade. That'd be kind of hard. Look at the citrine. This is garnet or tourmaline in the pinks. You have the purples in the amethyst. And like I said, if you look at the sand, you can just, now listen, don't go and do much to make the background sand like this. All sand, for the most of it, if it is white, it's going to be true quartz, so it counts as a mineral. And it is easy to buy. Go to your home store, get a $2.50 bag of white sand, and but you might be able to find something like a hobby sand that may be a kind of like a bleached white or a really fine white if that's what you're wanting. But again, don't crush up a nice quartz specimen to try to create a white type of sand. So the world of gemstones is your palette for colors, and it is unending. And as we come away from this, you can see that you trace it, the overall design, of course, being a basket, and all you have to do is trace your initial outline in the black and then fill it in. And you can use those spray glues. They have that one, you can actually just research the video. They have that great video done in Vietnam, and it really shows you how and the different glues used. And you know what? I am reinvigorated, and I think I really want, it may take me years to complete it, but I want to start on something like this because I've never done it, and I think it's really clever. Also, here's the other thing. You don't have to crush everything to a sand. Dave, if you could take us in kindly one more time, I'm going to show you that you can use larger size pieces, as you can see here. Look at these. So it's all these are just larger pieces, like right up here even. You can see it's actually like a crystal right there, and you can see the white gaps in between, which is fine. You don't have to put a gem in every spot. That's just part of the texture and coloring. So look at this. So again, you have options and a lot of neat ways to create and do this. Okay, now back to the offering I have before you. This is what Miss Penny wanted for yellow, and it was the best thing. Look at this. Can you imagine? Now she also wanted to know if there were any kind of chartreuse type colors. And in this particular parcel, I noticed, and I'll mark it for you, Penny, if you want this particular one. I noticed there was a couple that had these really bright yellow with a kind of a secondary tinge of, pink, secondary tinge of, I don't want to say necessarily green, but look at that. What it takes to be that bright yellow you might be looking for. So you could separate these out by color. You could smash them up to blend and get a color. And remember, this is the material that I actually went through. I had a lot. I was lucky years ago, had a large amount and separated out the leuco garnets. That was the clear white garnets. So you can see this one is just a pale yellow. They were very rare, but in the entire batch, there was a parcel full, maybe 100 carats of clear white leuco garnet. And I actually sold all of you some of it. I regret it. Whoever's got their leuco garnet, hang on to it because there's a bunch of value. So look at this. Look how flat this is. See that? And you could use that entire piece as like, I don't know, like part of a lily pad in a pond or whatever. In other words, don't smash up items until you know, especially flat ones, what you're going to do with them. Other ones, I mean, look at the colors. That's facet gray. So anyway, per parcel, I have here, sorry about that. And I have, here's the other two just to show you that they're all similar. So I have three. So if you'll limit just one per person, they're all actually same color. So if that looks different color out there, it's because it's not in the light. So there you go. This is really, a lot of it's facet gray hessonite. What you're looking at is 50 carats. I know exactly. This material goes back being mined in the 90s. So it's really good old stock, not treated whatsoever. And anyway, at an incredible opportunity, I'm offering these at only $28 a parcel. Only $28 a parcel, and there's only three, and it's limit one each, please. So that, yeah, because once that material's gone, there's just not. Or I just don't have, I'm not going to have any other. Now, let me show you another opportunity here. For one thing, let me do this. I'll find it in a minute. Okay, so I'll put those up. Okay, yes. This is item 1181924. And this is had been set aside for Miss Penny. So let me just flash this in. And this was that mixed tourmaline that you wanted to see. And again, this is, that you had wanted that I had a long time ago, but I just didn't have anymore. And it's all these different colors that you can separate and paint with, so to speak. There's even some of the chartreuse in there, it looks like, and some brighter colors. There's even some actually nice short crystals like that you may want to use like as a stem and not crush them up. And when I mean you, I don't mean Penny per se, all of you. So if you get any of these parcel opportunities. So anyway, this one is going to be reserved and set aside for Miss Penny. I have offered all of these to all of you multiple times previously. And oh, by the way, Miss Penny, that was $21 if you wanted that parcel. Okay, so let me put these up for a minute and I'll be right back. Check this out. Okay, now, this is the opportunity. I think I flashed the bag in front of you last week where I said, okay, I'm going to be parceling these up. I tumbled all these. Now, they're mixed stones, but they are 95% corundum, ruby, and sapphire, and mixed garnets. Check these out. Check these out. Okay, so you're looking at 100 carats. You're seeing I have a total, I think, of 6 parcels. I don't know how many of you will want these, but I have... Yeah, that's the total I'm going to have. So if you go ahead and get a parcel, you can, try to limit to 1. But after a couple days, if you want to just put your order on hold or whatever, in a couple more days, if there's parcels available still, then go ahead and, get a second parcel or whatnot. Because these thanks for putting that in there. Because I can always offer these again anyway. So if they don't sell out. Now, you're going to have to do some separation. And remember, I taught you, and see, there really probably is a, what do teachers do? A course planner, whatever. I should know. My son's mom retired as a 35-year special education teacher at White County, up in the mountains here, and in Cobb County, a huge metro city. And so I learned all kinds of different lingo. But these garnets are really fun when you want to separate them by color. And you're going to find that many are facet gray. And you're going to see that they're certainly going to be, even though it's tough to take a hammer to it, but it is so much fun to, Lateef, you remember the crushed gemstone paintings. Remember all those we sold? Yeah. And so, remember the old magnet. If you want to do some separating on the almondines, look at that. Did you see that? Okay, so it picked up right next to, look at this other garnet. This is what the other fun part is, self-educating yourself on different properties and then on the different types of garnets. Let's see. I was saying, look at that. Okay, so you get a much stronger pickup response to those than you did that orange stone because it's going to have a lower iron content. Now, as you can see, then the almondine. The other thing I'm curious about is, let's see if ruby has any kind of response. Now, there is also you're going to find some other mixed stones in here. I saw a peridot or two. There's going to come across an emerald or two. There's blue sapphires in here. And anyway, you can do all kinds of things with them. You can use them whole to, you know how you see those gemstone trees where they have the tumbled stones on the trees? These are great for that. But what is neat is you get a nice blend. And you can see, look at these, even the nice, look at that. You can see the nice six-sided shaped crystal to that. This is where I had to tumble them with that special diamond powder I had to get many years ago. Anyway, there's a quantity of 6, and I am offering these parcels of 100 carats, and I have them, let's just see, how low did I go on these? I haven't shown them before. So let me see just how inexpensive I offer these guys for. Here we go. Okay. Wow. All right. Just had to check. $18 a parcel. Only $18 for 100 carats, and it's nice stuff. You can separate them out. I mean, you might even come across, I don't know, that might be a kyanite crystal. All kinds of interesting things. I tell you what, let's do this. $15 a parcel. There's going to be 6 available. I don't think there's going to be much beyond that. So, like I said, limit 1 per caller. After a few days, if there's still any available, then go ahead and get another. Now, let me go ahead and put that parcel up. Okay, I'm going to show you real quick while I transfer that parcel. Here is, you guys have got me excited. Here is what I have put together for myself so far. Let me give you an idea of my color palette. So look at these. These are some of the richer color Tanzanian Hessenites. Here is the apatite, the blue. I'm going to be offering that. I'm getting in before you guys buy them all on the same parcel of ruby and sapphire there with a few other mixed stones. And then I'm getting in also on the yellow Hessenites before you guys buy them all. I thought, you know what? I'm selling off all the parcels that I had always intended to do a gemstone painting. Now, not, you know, money-wise, I could never compete commercially to sell them with the time. So you can do portraits, you could do, you know, pictures of wildlife. So I said to myself, whatever I did, I would just keep it, you know, because there'd be so much time invested, interest in it. It wouldn't be something that I want to turn around and sell for $100 or something like that, you know. That becomes the part. You don't do it because of the time, I think, for an income, unless you had a maid overseas for you, which, you know, you can always set up if you're business savvy to do that. There's problems to that in the long run unless you're a big importer. But let me show you this next parcel. Item number 118-2024. And now, again, you're going to be amazed. This, you remember years ago, I sold off incredibly well cut apatite. I mean, beautiful material. Well, it was amazing that I got back every little scrap that wasn't used. The saw that they would cut and trim all the apatite completely. Okay, so here's what I have. I have a total of 4 parcels. Again, limit 1 parcel. And again, after it's only fair that everyone gets to see the show first before, you know, someone comes in and gets all 4 parcels kind of thing. So if later in the week there's another parcel still available. You know, you can go ahead and grab it. But if you can, yeah, thank you for putting that up there. All right, let me show you. So I divided up basically because in with it came some really fine material already. So what you see, every one of these pieces, if you look closely, there's a great example right on the end. Look at this. You see how flat that is on one side? It's because they've been sawed. There is a saw cut face on every one of these pieces. You should have seen the rough. The rough was really beautiful. I couldn't believe I had actual rough. And it cut what they fit. Look at that. What it finished with was they called it fancy cut. But what all it meant was, you know, really well cut shapes and angles, and in other words, like diamond cut apatite. And so it was so brilliant. I was really pleased. And they cut out any areas that had flaws. So they were basically clean. So you can see here that there were some big pieces of apatite that were actually included, I assume, even though I can see included to cut supposedly. I wonder if I mixed my parcel I was supposed to keep and that were some of the bigger original size stones before they were trimmed. That's what it looks like I've done. I'm not going to change anything though. These will be mixed throughout the others as well. But that's interesting. So much for my other personally kept stones. Anyway, you can see that all these have cut faces. So they're not crystals. They're not crystals. Don't worry about smashing them up further because this is, again, but it's amazing that the cutting house returns and they keep up, not only keeping up, but return every one of those little scraps. Now, if they did it, you could imagine, this was just from me sending in a batch of apatite rough one time. And I have 4 bags of that. 4 bags. Imagine how much additional, let's call them scraps, they have from the entire operation of doing this, you know, their operations, you know, every day for years. They would have pounds of scraps. So the use of them for gemstone pictures is a really great idea and great use of them. And so let me just comment for those of you that want to do this. So remember, the flat sides that have already been sawed can be used to your benefit on thin pieces for putting like the flat side down. You can either use the rough side up and then you can actually sand down the tops of them. And then if you glue them afterwards or acrylic spray them, they're going to all look shiny and polished anyway. Anyway, you can follow some different steps. All I'm looking at is some of these pieces of apatite that I should have gotten. They still look like they could have a stone cut out of them. Okay, ready? Here's these are better quality than anything you're going to see. Again, these were facet grade and from facet grade material. That beautiful color, natural color, Madagascan stuff. And so here's what an amount looks like in a bag there. So you can see by way of volume. When you crush it up, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. A real long way, a lot longer than you think. Anyway, $12. $12 a parcel and 1 per client. So that is there. And yeah, I even wrote on my bag, see, it says Shawn's. Shawn's setting aside his stash because, and I don't even want to wait till I'm older than I am. I really would like to start on it, except the only thing about it is, what am I going to do? If I'm going to create like only one masterpiece, what is it going to be? You know? So I got to give that some thought. All right. Let me show you this. Let me flash this in real quick before I forget. I came across this in looking for, believe it or not, so everything is magical. Everything happens for a reason. Looking for the missing axonite. So, Beaver Creek, Colorado, my other brother, the one that's not involved in the jewelry business, he has a timeshare, has had for years in Beaver Creek, which is down from Vail. Well, my son and I were supposed to go there. He was like 9 or 10, and we were supposed to go there and spend the night. We never showed up there. We called him. We called him from Estes Park up at Rocky Mountain National Park. We thought, well, we don't want to go to stuffy Beaver Creek, which is, it's just a little, like a Vail, right up the road from Vail. And, it wasn't for us. The backwoods, I had rented a 4-wheel drive, and so we just took off through the backwoods, and we got to Estes Park. We didn't have any toothpaste or anything. We made a trip to the Walmart, got the supplies for the night, and spent the night. I called my brother back. He was like astonished. He couldn't believe that we did something out of the norm and spontaneous. We saw wildlife we would have never seen. I used to live in Denver, so I knew what it was all about. I showed him old mines. We had great quality time. While I was out there, let me show you. Here it is. This is the picture that while we were out there, I took them to the Phoenix gold mine. You can look this up now. This was a incredibly amazing amount of gold it produced, and they were still mining at another shaft just further up from there. So here he is. We were, and they do tours. Okay, so. It was just he and I, and after the guy, I was standing there talking to the operator, the tour guide operator, who was a miner, and after a little conversation with him, he realized that I knew far more than his regular miners, and he goes, "I tell you what, let me strap you guys up." And we were in full gear and helmet, and he goes, he told us where to go, sent us back in there, and he goes, "Just be careful." He goes, "I know, you got some experience, so just be safe." And then later he caught up with us, and he let us run a jackhammer in, when you remember, John Henry went against the steam engine, I think it went, and it was about, pile drive, how they would drill holes for dynamite, and by the old hand method of one person would twist a chisel and the other better be a good aim and hit it, or the hydraulic jackhammer. He let me run that jackhammer, and I tell you what, you would be deaf in a day. Even with ear protection, it resounded down the mine shaft so loudly. But it was what an incredible experience. It made me feel like I was there for a moment. It was almost like I could go back in time and feel the energy of the miners. And it was a rush. For someone like me, that was a highlight. And of course, my son, to get to go in there and be by me, I wished he would have been a little rock hound, but that's okay. He's got a great career on his own. So anyway, I rediscovered that, and it really brought back a lot of great memories. You can see an active ore track. That means there was a lot of tunnelage in that mine, and a lot of gold produced out of it, as it still is being produced. So anyway, another tale to tell. As I told you, the opal tail got to run that equipment, got to run that, and yeah. So when I speak about mining and experience, I have as much as this old boy can do. And as far as getting the look with the teeth gone and the beard and the hair turning gray, I'm going to be that grizzled miner, and one day I'm just going to go poof, be gone, and I'll be out in some unknown old lost gold mine shaft mining away. Okay, watch too many horror shows. Okay, 118-2524. We're just going to go random here and get going because I have a lot of wanted to do. But it's nothing wrong with story time. It's how you learn. Check this out. Okay, last week, even Miss Christie in inventory, she sees a lot, but she had said she had never seen a cat's eye opal. Didn't even know they existed. Yeah. So of course, as you heard me read, the pair of cat's eye opals were sold, and I thought, you know what? I'll share one more. This is more of a milk and honey type one, kind of like what actual cat's eyes. Remember, if I say just cat's eye, it generally, as in the old school, would refer to the chrysoberyl, the real original cat's eye. Look at that eye open and close. I had to take that out to show you just how impressive of an eye that is. And look at how translucent a material that is, and what a deep stone it is. So, yeah, you know, you just don't get to see that kind of material. Just don't get to see gems. And I've had that for decades, that particular stone for decades. I don't know, you know, they're not in the marketplace. One like that, they're not inexpensive. The better ones, the larger ones, of course, and they're completely natural. No treatments done. This one from my own collection, but of course, you know, I'm going to make sure I offer it well below the actual market value, making it only $58 to you guys, only $58 to the lucky person. And you can see where it is a more of a milk and honey color versus yellow, and we got a couple lights going. So other than that, though, it has a wonderful, wonderful open and close eye change, and a beautiful eye down the middle of that jewel. Okay, now let me take one moment to put up that other apatite so I don't spill it. I'll be right back. Shades of memories. When a lot of gemstones I used to show and feature in my live show here at Gem Shopping. And then, of course, throughout the podcast, I've always had gemstones. Even jewelry you're going to see from time to time. And I have even offered Civil War memorabilia. Well, put it this way, artifacts. Because, you know, I also go metal detecting, have a really high-tech metal detector. I also have really high-tech prospecting gear and Geiger counter and fluorescent lights. So no matter what time of day, I can be out there looking for stuff. And in the South here, we have an incredible history. I mean, from Hernando de Soto coming through with his army after coming through St. Augustine in Florida and up through Georgia. We have the Cherokee, and then, you know, them being rounded up only, well, less than about a half mile when starts the Trail of Tears out to Oklahoma. There, and all of those, I won't say civilizations because that sounds too long, but all of those periods of time, people leave behind things, and I like to find them. Metal detector is good for that, providing it's metal. You know, Hernando de Soto reported that he saw a notated Cherokee Indians panning for gold on the Etowah River. This was in the 1500s, late 1500s. So it has been known to be here in North Georgia, and it's still here. The our 1829ers were lost to the 1849 California gold rush. True story. A lot of gold left behind. Anyway, what that has to do with iolite, give me time, I'll figure out a connection. But here it is. Ready? So it didn't take long. Change. All about change. If you sit here and watch that stone without me doing any chicanery or trickery, it's going to change. Well, you say, how? What? Well, just look at it, stare at it long enough, and it won't take long. Here's one of the last of the beauties that I had left in my collection for iolite. Remember, not long ago, I did a trivia question about name all the different names that have been applied to iolite. When you look at Mindat, they actually refer to iolite as being a type of cordierite. What type of cordierite, you say? Well, all it is the gem variety of cordierite. So, yeah, it means the same. Look at that. Look at that color, purple and blue right there. Does it stay that saturated throughout as you look at that stone? No. And you're seeing that right now. This is one of my great stones for showing and featuring dichroic stones that change color upon the direction that you view them. And look at that. You can look at it right there through that angle, and what you're seeing is a clear or slightly yellow tint to it. And without turning it hardly at all, boom, look at that. Look at the intensity of the bluish purple. And then it goes away. Yep. So iolite, and it goes away not, at a very particular angle. And you can explore all those angles as you look at it. Look at it from above, though. Beautiful gem, a lovely, lovely cut, big stone. I didn't personally facet this stone, but it's in my, always been in my personal collection. I love emerald cuts, and this was a very clean, look at that. Look at that. See that yellowish, clear color, classic color change for iolite. And that's why I loved it. Look at that. It almost is devoid of color. Look at the reflection in the mirror. And then let's give it a little spin, and wow, it all comes back. This is one of the stones that can be used for navigation with the polarization light. It is an emerald step cut, or step cut emerald shape. Okay, I guess I'll give you a price opportunity on it. And oh, here's one more thing. Let me show you before I give you the price. No, I'll go ahead and give you the price. Okay, hold on. There was something else, because the box I used to put it in. This is going to say it all in a minute. But first, let me give you the price. I'm such a goof. I actually looked up how inexpensive this place I use that sells stuff what I consider, a very fair price range, and they. And I wouldn't sell it to you at that price, as high as what they're asking, and but that's just me. So here we go, $68. That's all. Only $68 for that. And what is that? Less than $20 a carat. Wow, that's a deal. Okay, so here's what I was putting in. It's generic, so you can't tell exactly who, unless you know what other network this came from. But I am going to show you. This is how they have a description of something. Okay? And this is going to be part of my trivia question to you. I'm not going to tell you what. All right, so I just want to say canary kunzite. That is like saying red emerald. As they tried to call the red beryl when it came into the marketplace, they actually, even a business was established and the name trademarked as red emerald. That is the biggest ridiculous thing. Red emerald? Are you kidding me? I just bristle when I think about some of these stupid nonsensical names that do nothing but confuse. And so luckily the trade made it to where it was they didn't fare well underneath that name. So the trivia question is, I'm not going to tell you yet. Of course, it doesn't matter. I could tell you because it's not like you can't look it up or anything once I give it to you. So I'm going to set this here. But I wanted to show you canary kunzite because you should know, be thinking right now and understand that there's something seriously wrong with that name. All right. Now, what do I have? Okay. This 117-2124. I guess that, you know, if this would have sold, this was the item that would have completed, I think, that complete sell-through. I'm not sure. And I was really, really surprised that it did it. It is one of the best values that I showed you that day. Look at this. Okay, so first, you get this scrumptious suspension box where it can be viewed from both sides in an elegant way, protected from all the elements with the sealed container. And I bring you, wow, look at that. Look at that. And as you look at that for a moment, I am going to cut down on this bright glare around us. This stone, mined out of Canada, where the best material is found. And look at those colors. Look at those colors. I had, and of course you guys bought it, wise, all of you, that dragon skin blue purple one. And here you can see this is a doublet because the shell material has been placed upon what looks like the native shale, actually. So it makes it much more realistically genuine to how it would have been in the surrounding rock if it was stable. So what happens is these big shells will break up into pieces. Some are recoverable to be reassembled. Others are just shatter into different size, smaller pieces. This is probably how this one became just a single, but it's large with that large flash. So it tells me most likely it was from a large ammonite. And the ammonites, you know, went everywhere from a dime size or so to upwards of 6 feet across. And it is the shell from those under weight and pressure converts the shell to aragonite. And it is the layers of aragonite, when light passes through them, it diffracts the light into these color gradings. When the shell is thick, and that's what survives the best, of course, because the thicker the shell, under the ground and pressure and weight of the ground above it, the thinner the shell is, the more it's going to be crushed and in time just ground into shards. But the orange and yellow and red material shell, it is more commonly found because those colors that you see are created when the shell is thick. And what survives better? The thicker the shell. So hence, and maybe I went about this going into it backwards, but it goes without saying that the purplish blue colors are a more valuable and rarer color because they are only formed and seen when the shell material, what you see here, is thin. but when it's thin, it's easy for it to be destroyed with the 70 million years of time that it's been buried. Whereas the thickness of the layer of the shell survives better, and by surviving better, the thickness also gives you that red, yellow, and orange color tones, and why it's more commonly seen. So, that said, I am going to put this one on sale, I guess. Look at that. Look at the greens in it. I mean, this one is a stunning piece. You can do something as simple as drill the top of it and have a wonderful display, a wonderful pendant that you don't have to do anything with. So, anyhow, how's this? How's this sale opportunity? I am discounting it to, wow, okay, you guys really want it for nothing. Why not? It's $38. $38, that's the final discounted price. After that, my goodness, it'll be worth just keeping. It'll be worth just keeping. Okay, let me show you something. 702017. I don't know if you have this one, also if it goes way back. 702017. And has everyone noticed the price of silver lately? I mean, it is in record territory. And anyway, here is a silver ring. I haven't featured it. I just kind of rediscovered it from, oh, did I not give you, let's see. Okay. And here, 702017. There we go. Okay, this was made a long time ago by Anna King, my silver maker. Let's see, do you have 702017? And there we go. Hot air balloon. No, is that the number? 702017. There we go. There we go. Okay, look at this. Sterling silver ring. Long time ago. I had gotten this and I just kind of had put it up. Now, what she has a stunning carver that takes a actual genuine buffalo nickel. So you can see that 5 cents with the D mark, United States of America. And the carver carves, in this case, a horse. If you're an equestrian, this would be a stunning gift to give someone. I wish I could show you the other side, because you have, of course, on the buffalo nickel, you have the buffalo on one side and the Indian head on the other. So they work within that coin. And a nickel, of course, then is not a silver coin. So it is nickel. It's hard. And so it's quite elaborate to do that. And this would be a unique, one-of-a-kind gift, because there's no two alike. All these are different. So right here, to any numismatic, that's coin collector, it's obvious when you see that. And I used to also and still like the hobby and remember many things quite well. That's easy to recognize when you see that 5 cent, and that when I see that, I know right away that that would be a buffalo head nickel, that this was used to, look at that. They take the relief and are able to create that. I think that is just very talented carver. Okay, so there you have AK, that's Anna King Jewelry, 925 stamp. And I am offering this 18.20 grams. You know, this was a piece that was quite expensive originally, but I guess at this point I am closing it out. And even, my goodness, with what silver is, I was just doing the math in my head. Anyway, here we go. It could never, ever be lower than this. And even if you didn't know someone to give it to right away, if you're around anybody with horses and whatnot, wow, this would be because it's art. What was done to it to get it to that point to see the horse, it took a true artisan to carve that. Believe me. Okay, here we go. Opportunity, because it was actually originally $119, and right now I have marking it all the way down to only $68. So a nice weight, quality, one of a kind type ring. If you've been waiting for a good price on something like that, well, that is certainly fits the bill of a beyond a good price, an amazing opportunity. Now, I am going to show you, here is an amazing opportunity, 1177524. And, well, I guess, because I said I was going to do sale items, I am going to apply the sales criteria to this amazing piece. Look at this. Look at that stunning, super high quality piece of Afghan lapis. This is your classic lapis. And you can see again, like I talked about that piece from last week, where this isn't broken off of just a larger piece. It's actually just part of a seam. And you can see by this having the white here and the white here, that this was the total width of the seam. And that's how this material actually forms, is in seams. In other words, layers. You can also see some, I was looking to see if there's, well, actually there's very little of, pyrite in this piece and very little other calcite material. But you can see just under that skin, look at that quality lapis. Oh, there's an interesting mineral. A couple crystals there. I wonder what that is. So anyway, check that out. And you can see the size of it. That would be great for cutting rough. It would be great just to sit on a shelf until you figure out what to do. What a great paperweight. Or to set another specimen on, pretend this is a specimen, and because just by chance, the way that sits, it is level. Here gives you an idea. That's a loop, relative size. But yeah, that's a level top. So put a little carved animal on there or something. Okay. Better get going here. Talking too much. Let's see. Yeah, the price on that one is discounted now down to a sale price of only $32. $32. Wow. Okay. Now. Oh, this. Okay, this has a story, as do all my rocks. That's just it. I know all my rocks intimately, and they all tell a story. Okay, so let me put that there for just a moment while I bring you item number 118-2424. 118-2424. And by the way, everyone did really well last week. I saw a sales report. Christy sent it to me, and my goodness, not every item, but you were working on it, on buying almost every item I featured last week. So well done with that. Well done. I know some people miss out that way, and I don't like that, but I do need, we all go through a lot of effort to bring you this show. So when you plan comes together, and then you guys buy the items like you do like that, then as much as I'll miss the items, I wouldn't show them if I didn't need to sell them, irregardless of my emotions about them. So well done, and I really do appreciate you guys doing that and taking advantage of those opportunities like you have. Look at this. Okay, let me hear it. You ready? Here's the story. All right. Now, this is Dave does his magic to make it as white as it actually is, which is a very white quartz. It doesn't have any yellowish tinge. It just is a little bit of lighting issues there. Look at how that blue reflects off of that light in the background. Crystals will do that. They will pick up colors from everything, especially quartz, and they pull those colors in and then bounce them around and radiate them back out. And that's the magic of faceting and crystallography. Is all about light, bending the light and bouncing it around, sending it back out. Now, this Arkansas quartz specimen, this is that really old stock. I only have a few pieces of it left. I had been saving this one. Now, in all actuality, like I said, if you see any tints of, see if you see a little yellow there, when I turn it right there, you see it goes white. It's clear. So there is no yellowish tint if you're seeing a yellowish tint. Okay, but look at the specimen. This is the one I was holding back to grow the crystals around. Oh yeah, everything is a methodic process, and I approach the crystal growing kind of scientifically so that we get it right. So I was looking for a base to grow these other type of crystals. I'm not going to tell you what the type of chemical is yet, but a base to grow them over. But when I got to examining this closer, not only, and it's okay to grow them over a really nice crystal. It just gives it more transparency, just like Mother Nature when it grows a secondary, like say calcite growth over another. Well, here's a good example. When and we've had we had $2,000 and $3,000 specimens of it. The Chinese Mandarin garnets that were over the smoky quartz specimens. Those were stunning. And so, of course, the smoky quartz crystals, if they were clear and beautiful, it just helped everything, even though you didn't get to really see them that much. It was really amazing how they could just grow all these little crystals over another crystal. So, same thing. It's better and okay if they are clear, but if they were opaque, that would be fine too. But here it was the issue. I would be afraid that back in these little crevices, they would grow kind of in together to where they intermingled together. And I didn't want that. Yeah, I'm confident that we're going to get some crystals that'll have some length to them. And I didn't want them growing into each other. So instead of that, you're going to get to buy this specimen right now. Now remember, high quality Arkansas quartz is worth every penny of its more expensive price than what you might be used to. But of course, Shawn price makes it affordable. $38 on this. $38 should be a lot more. You can see the size of it in my hand, and it's just that's why I saved it. See this? It's just a real aesthetically attractive specimen. There's no other minerals. Very, very clean. This comes out of the better mines there, the mines that aren't open to the people. By the time you get to the point of where the mines are open to people, the mine will have already dug up its best material, sold it off, and then they're selling off to customers to the walk-ins, charging an entrance fee and having them sweat all day to come out with a few trinket crystals. Okay, Opal collectors, here's your chance. 101, and I do mean a really rare chance. 101 9021. Because you can get in on something now that is sale priced. I treasured this. It was part of my, well, I had a couple pieces. And if you really want to collect all the opal, you need to have the Made in America opal. And you don't have to spend a fortune and get some Virgin Valley black opal. Right here is all you need. This is definitive as United States opal. When you have this, look at this center silicate formation, you have this outside rhyolite formation. It doesn't occur anywhere else. As we look at the banded layers of fire, so there we go. Look at this. You can see that this was silica was laid down horizontally in a particular direction. You can see the layers. Look at this. You know, here's what happens. An opal cutter driven insane by fire, because opal fever is really almost as bad as gold fever, will cut away all the way to get to a layer of color. Or, heaven help us, if there's any red anywhere, I call them red chasers. I have seen a cutter, he used to buy opal from me. He would pay huge money and he would ruin a piece of opal chasing after a little thin band. David, let's go in a little closer and I'll show him just how thin some of these bands, a little thin band, thank you, of color if it's got red. And he would destroy it. By the time he got, the red wouldn't show through, and he will have ground through many other layers of good color if he would have only stopped. But no, they didn't have red or enough red, and he would gamble and chase the red every time. And I just called him a red chaser, and that's what he would do. And he wasted many, many opals. Oh, drove me nuts. But anyway, as long as I made money on selling him the opal. Look at this piece. Look at this. You can tell this is the original outside layer, the skin of the opal on this side. Look at this. This is all silica. Here is, look, you can see the fire layer. So that one layer of color, that really strong one, you can see it maintains its thickness all the way over here. My goodness, you have also many other color bars. That's I really, I might chase after that one myself. You know, if just picture though, if you remove this down to that's thick enough, it would have a solid layer of fire this large when you cut down to that layer. And it's thick enough. That layer is thick enough. Yep. That it would give you a 2 to 3 dimensional look. You can slightly bow the surface so it just wasn't a flat top, because it's thick enough to do that, and really get a look. I wonder what that would. Anyway, okay, Shawn, that's the opal cutter in me. Now, when I go on, went online before, and I was looking up Spencer, Idaho opal. It's available. You know what you see? You see opal cabochons without any rhyolite, without anything telling me that it's an Idaho opal. You know what it looked like to me? They look like Cooper-Pedy material. How do I know they're not Cooper material? I could buy a bucket load of Cooper-Pedy material for, what a fraction of the Spencer material would cost. You don't know. You just can't be assured that you actually would be getting an opal once it's cabochoned from Spencer, Idaho. And that's what I saw. I saw an issue. It's like, well, there's no certifications. I don't even know if there's a way to certify the difference for origin between the two. It's not like an inclusion type of thing. And so what was more important to me was to have an opal that you could determine origin from, to be from Spencer, Idaho. And that's the purest to me. That's the science edge to me, is proof, proof, proof. Here's my proof. Here's my proof. It is the rhyolite. And compared to, and things like this little rim, compared to other opals around the world, there's no other opal form anywhere else that can duplicate the parameters and this look. So with that, and I say all that, but you know why? Because this came in an estate of American stones and things collected here in the United States, but I couldn't be assured. So it only took some research, and it was easy actually to determine that the only place it could be from. And even as a kid growing up, I saw back then, especially, I saw a lot of different Spencer opal. Never could afford to buy any of it, but it was in the rough and the little knobbies and nodules. You can see this is like a nodule where the center was silica. I would have loved to have had the whole thing, but it's kind of neat to see that it stopped here. So on this side. So anyway, to even sell this at a discount is shameful, but you know what? If you wanted to go ahead and cut it up down to that fire layer, I definitely would be curious to see what you'd wind up with, and might be very, very sad that I ever ever sold it. Here we go. I have this sale priced, and it's really at the point where I can't offer it any less, or just would be, it'd be sad. So here we go. Another large discount from my original price. This is, well, it's less than half, but like I said, this is the laments. But let someone else get an amazing opportunity. It's not in buying the finished cut stones. The opportunity is to get the non-touched piece that is recognizable as a Spencer Opal Idaho opal and matrix specimen. That's what you want. And that's what I'm offering. $168. Only $168. And that is a true only. Okay. Let me offer you a sale price on something that we used to sell the oodles out of these. Item 1150223. And I guess we set aside some that we did it, and I know why, because when I looked at this, I could tell it has some great specimens in it. This is that 17 specimen collection box that comes with them labeled, and you can see, even, look at this. Look at this. I'm going to take this one sulfur specimen. I don't have an individual sulfur specimen this nice. No way. Look at how beautiful that is. And labeled, fancy cotton and all, from Louisiana. And look at that. And it, believe me, smells like sulfur. It has items from places that are unique, like azurite instead of like Morocco, from Bisbee, Arizona. How cool is that? Mexican chalcedony that is, look at that, very different from other chalcedonies. Oh, and it's, we won't look at the crystals. It's got other stuff. I'll let you, everyone else. Pyrite, Wansala, Peru, known to be the probably debatable, the finest pyrite specimens in the world from Wansala mine. I have sold all y'all many of those from that mine. Special quartz. Speaking of, look at that, Mount Ida, Arkansas. Fluorite, not from a common place, but from Canada. And now this is ridiculous. Facet grade white fluorite. That is the rarest color in fluorite, is the non-color. And that looks like facet grade to me. If no one gets this, I forgot that was in here. I actually think I even pulled this because I didn't want it sold, and now I see why. Wow. Stilbite. Look at those stilbite crystals. And let's see, I bet it's, yeah, Manassas, Virginia. Not stilbite from the Deccan Traps of India. We'd zoom in closer if we had time, but that looks beautiful. I could get lost in this. This is an amazing, it looks like I cherry picked kyanite and pyrite. Look, yeah, look at those kyanite crystals. Oh, wow. Wow. Virginia, apatite, Durango. I bet this is the yellow material. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Look at the size of that. And it looks like it would facet a stone, even maybe an occlusion in it. Well, I don't know, it depends on how big you want it to go. But what a specimen that is. As part of this collection, this is not a kid's beginner collection. I wasn't going to look at all these, but now I want to. Tourmaline, Pierpont, New York, you guys, I've sold you that. Look at that, Amazonite. Yep, with fuchsite. Look at that, a garnet from Connecticut. How unique is that? For those of you that don't think there's rock hunting up in, Anthony's discovered that there's rock hunting real close to him and firing him up about that. Look at that dodecahedron. What a specimen. That is nuts. Tiger eye from Africa. What's this one? Mimetite. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Oh, that is an unbelievable specimen of mimetite. I am dead serious. That is incredible. That needs to be better protected. Wow, you can feel the weight of that. I could tell you about mimetite and the other minerals it's related to and why it's heavy, but nope, I'm going to let you do the studying on that. Oh my. Thunder Bay, Canada, amethyst. Are you kidding me? Where's my flashlight? Remember how unique it is? And it is, wow. Wow, look at the richness. This is such a saturated color. That is certainly your deep, deep purple with blue and red. And it will have the hematite inclusions in it, as you can even see. That's like chevron, except with hematite. That's a stunning specimen. That is a stunning specimen. So, okay, let's see. There's 17 specimens, and these are unique collector specimens. Look at that. Selenite rose. And the last one. Oh, look at that. Calcite with chalcopyrite. Wow. Okay. This is an exceptional quality. It looks like it was cherry picked. Anyway, all I can do is do the lowest I can, and that came out to an average only $4, $68 total. Only there's 70 specimens, only $4 a specimen average. That specimen alone, I don't know, $30. The amethyst one, $15, $20. You know, you look at them, you can see the money there. $68, please. Okay, now, let me organize a couple things and I'll get right back to you. See you in a second. Okay, so I offered one of the rarest and newest discoveries in the last decade, 2 decades, triplite at, really rare. And I have sold different specimens and whatnot. So in going through the material, I found there was these group of sizes that had fantastic color and could be sorted out by a darker orange or a lighter orange, and they had clarity. So if I just kind of run this light by some, and look at, then some pinks, look at that. Ah, great. Then, so you could see all of them, well, none of them are opaque. They all have some kind of translucency and vary in color, again, from an orangish to a pinkish, which can be separated. I take a flashlight, with a wider top and just put them on top of the plastic flashlight. Thank you, sir. And then sort of my color that way. Look at that. Okay, now I am going to repurpose these because you guys didn't buy them at the amazing deal they were. Maybe you didn't see what you could do with them. Well, guess what we're doing with them now? We are going to create another color for our gemstone paintings. And those of you out there that don't think you want to make your own gemstone painting yet, better get in on these now, even if you don't think it's something you want to do, because you know what? I didn't think I ever wanted to do them when I could order from Thailand and I could do this and that. Well, the factory that we were doing business with, it closed. It got more difficult. The economy caused a lot of the cutting houses to close down, which caused a lot less number of little pieces to be available. There were changes in the cost of the importation of them. There were a number of factors that you don't think that can happen that can all of a sudden upset that apple cart of supply. And so it was a time when they were gone. They just weren't available anymore. All that said, what I said to myself was, I can always get one. And then all of a sudden I couldn't. And then I didn't think about much as I stayed busy through life. But now at this point in my life, at 63, wondering what hobby, I know I always am going to enjoy cutting stones and whatnot, but what can I sit in my lazy boy chair in front of the TV and do something that was still hobby oriented, unique, and will be one of a kind when I'm done. And it came to me, of course, gemstone paintings, which you can, and I thought, wow, that, and when done, even, you could call a Picasso a primitive painting, and others call it $10 million. So no matter whether your design is a fine-lined and well scripted painting, or if it is a more casual and not so exacting, and by that I mean use crystals. They don't have to be crushed. They can just, those little crystal shards and whatnot, pieces of it. So don't always take the material, crush it up. Save some of those little individual pieces, like I see one here, probably right in the corner, that would be worth saving separately, because if it's flat, yeah, look at that. See? Flat, covers a big distance. That almost looks like a flower kind of thing. You save that one. All right. Yep, that's it. That's what I'm repurposing these to be. So you separate them by color if you want. Even ones like this with the dark areas, by the time you crush it up, it is going to be a particular nice, pleasant color. And so there. Now with that in mind, who in the world else can say that they have a trip light, using trip light in their gemstone painting? You know what? Before long, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to keep all of this material and do something bigger, because I think then that would be something to sell, using some rare gemstones. And okay, Shawn, be quiet. Let your clients have some of your items before you. Okay, now, so here it is. The price on that batch, and I'm supposed to sale price it down from the $24 it was. Have I lost my marbles? $21. $21, and that is the, if someone wants the, let's see, the lightest weight pack. So, okay, I don't know. I shouldn't be taking the time, but you know what? I'm going to do it. Item 117-6724. 117-6724. And I am going to offer a larger weight. And I don't, let's see. This is kind of difficult to do on the fly, especially since I had wet them somewhat just so you could see them that way. You get to see the actual color. Okay, so look, let's put the light behind here and let me see if I can do this in a different way. All right, again, here we go. You can see all translucent. You can see all the colors in there. And I know, yeah, but you can't see it as well as the other. Look at this. These look like, if you want, they were a little bit bigger, but it doesn't really matter when you come to squishing them. But look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Don't squish that. That is a fantastic, let me get it, please, specimen for triplite right there. Triplite does not form perfect shaped crystals like you think it would. The crystals are always misformed and unrecognizable per se as a crystal. That, as a specimen, is exceptional. You know, you can tell I got a kitty cat, but I like my kitty cat. And she walks on the bed when I'm doing inventory sometimes, and not sometimes, all the time. But she doesn't like it because then there's no room for her. Okay, enough about the cat. You know, since we lost the dog, that's what we had. All right, look at that. And it was an actual stray cat that another, someone had dropped off in the neighborhood, we figure. And she lived off the woods for a couple of years. And we slowly fed her and got her and calmed down enough. And she eventually one day walked into the house and never left. And so strictly a house cat now. And, versus whatever life it would have led. You know, I know what's out in the woods. You know what's on my back porch? Teddy, the bear. Yeah. So the bear visited again this past week, and that's 3 times now. So anyway, and visited, I mean, we have no steps to our back porch. It climbs the post and the railing and eats the bird seed on the back porch, which is only feet right on the side of the glass door, and oftentimes we have the door open, not expecting a bear could walk in. All right, you actually see some crystal shapes here. So this, separate them out. Look at each one closely because, wow, there is some keepers here for specimens. Look at that. There's a crystal right there in the matrix. So look at this. Look at this one. I'm seeing triplite that shouldn't be in there, and I'm supposed to sale price this one down. It was only $38. Let's make it $34. And I can tell you what, if it doesn't sell, then of course, at that low of a price, then you just keep it. Item number 1176624. This is the last offering I have of yes, sir. It is 1176624. Let me sit that right there. And okay, so this is the I think the largest weight parcel of the batch, and you can see that again. The piece is wow. I see a color that I like. Hold on. Yeah. Again, you get what you pay for, and in this, look at that. So if I hold this up to the light and look at this, yeah, look at that. I saw that through the bag. I'm not so sure. Remember, Anthony cut a stone, faceted a stone from a triplite he got out of a parcel. So there's all kinds of stuff you can find in this. And again, look at that. Look at the size of that. And again, if nothing else, yeah, that's a let me see that. Wow. And again, that's the way the crystals look. They are always misshapen. But that, as far as crystals go, is one of the best ones I've actually seen. Wow. Okay, so again, you didn't like the parcel when there's fantastic examples of triplite that you could be proud to give your friends or keep them for yourself. Look at that one. And cherry pick out the ones that are better for specimens, and the ones at the end, if you want, crush them up. It's all right at the price that you're going to pay, and have in them. You could actually do it. And again, then look at that at the bottom. You see that crystal shape right there? Then how many people could say when they look at your gemstone painting, yes, and this has been done out of crushed triplite. Okay, so I have, by my own consequence, am supposed to deduct the price of these from the $48 I offered them before. So let's go $44. And wow, just try to even find something like that. It would be not possible. Only in the house of Shawn. Let's see. What in the world are those? Okay. Now, that's a really, okay, here we go. Let's do some. Oh, what? Dave, what'd you do with my time? Wow. Okay, wait a second. Hold on. I'm not done. I can easily show one more item. Man, I tell you what, I have. Oh, here. This was super important. Oh, I'd have been mad. Okay, yes, wait, hold on, because I talked about this. Item 118, 2224. Oh, wow. This is, okay, so Miss Penny, I'm not sure. This is the only other boulder opal I had left. Dave, work your magic on the camera, please. And if you wanted a higher end item than the parcel of two that Brad is bringing back. So I'm going to set this aside for you for a couple of days after the show. And if you don't get it before then I'll open it up to anybody else that wants it. Yeah, I gave you the item. So you can see it's a nice stone. You can see that incredible color flowing through all those different classic Koroit patterns, and really a unique piece. So everybody, if you would just give Penny a couple of days to make sure she sees the show on this. She has tried multiple times to try to get a opal, and they've all gotten sold before she's gotten to them. We hope you have a speedy recovery. Also, Miss Penny, all thoughts and prayers are going towards you. So I have I've never even featured this before. This actually I pulled out of the one of the opals I kept because I really found it beautifully attractive. So, but I'm willing to, if you want, offer this one for only, why not? $88. $88, a real treasure. So again, after a couple of days, if you can check, and if it's not sold, then I'm opening up to anybody that wants it at that incredible sale price opportunity right there. Okay, I'll be right back with the trivia. Okay, I have a new one for you. This is that box I showed you earlier that held the iolite, and I showed you the back as kind of a interesting informational tidbit, and that I was going to make a trivia question around it. All right, you can see the description of canary kunzite. Well, this is a similar, let's see, I don't know for a better word, misnomer, as is when they tried to market, and I still hear it used, but it really shouldn't be acceptable. Red emerald. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Emeralds are green. They're not, you know what? Okay, it's like saying red green. And if that's the case, if you do that, then why wouldn't you say, because remember, you're talking about the beryl family. Emerald is a beryl, just as the aquamarine is. So why is there the name aquamarine? Why not say blue beryl? Or for morganite, say pink beryl. You know, the acceptable name is simply red beryl, not red emerald. And red emerald is confusing and doesn't give you information, but red beryl does. And the public should be educated enough, especially if they're going to buy something as rare and expensive as that item, as to exactly what they're getting, you know? And that, yes, an emerald is exactly related to a regular, a green emerald, exactly related to a beryl that is the red color. And we call it in the marketplace red beryl. All right. Now, that being said, when I see canary kunzite, we all know the color of kunzite is a pink color. It is pink and named after a very famous gemologist, Frederick Kunz. And when they discovered this mineral, the actual mineral for this pink material, it was spodumene. So instead of calling it pink spodumene, they dedicated that new discovery and named it kunzite after Frederick Kunz. So kunzite is pink beryl, just the same way ruby is red corundum, just the way sapphire is every other color of corundum is called sapphire. It's called a sapphire. White sapphire, blue sapphire, except red. Then it's called ruby. Now, here's the question. We know that kunzite is technically a pink spodumene. What is the real name for a spodumene that is a canary or yellow color? There is an actual name that you may not hear often, but that is given to and well-read and knowledgeable mineral and gem aficionados should know this word. And I have always used this word, and I have sold spodumene under this word. Canary kunzite is one of those misleading and incorrect terms. Canary as well. I can't imagine it's actually a canary bright color unless it's treated in some way. But instead of a canary kunzite, what is the term, the actual term for a mineral or gem that is yellow spodumene? Okay, that was question 1. Now, question 2, and I might have to read my notes. Okay, no, because Latif and I were just talking about this, and he, as I do, Raven, everybody, it answers, I seldom just give freely. They're given in a form that will be in a wraparound form with a broader degree of knowledge that ties it all in together. And so in this case, we were talking about the different opal fields around the world and what type of geology that the opals formed in. Oh yeah, I mean, if you're at Gem Shopping Network, conversations like that are held just offhand all the time. No, he and I aren't sitting here talking about girls or something like that. In this case, especially with Latif, who's quite knowledgeable in those things. Yeah, that's standard fare. So that leads me to our second trivia question and not necessarily from today's show. As you saw, I can pull a question from anywhere that I see, and it actually angered me. It's like, oh, I hate when they use these terms, canary kunzite. So, hence the question. In this case, your question is now this. Name 3 worldwide localities where the opal is formed in a rhyolite deposit or formation. So name 3 localities worldwide where opal is formed in a rhyolite, which I'll give you one other additional kind of hint to that. And by rhyolite, for rhyolite to be there, it means that would be of a volcanic origin originally. So stemming from volcanic activity is where you get the rhyolite. So 3 localities worldwide where the opal has been formed in a volcanic rhyolite. Okay, so I didn't get to nearly everything I wanted to do, but I had fun anyway, and great comments, and I just appreciate all of you so much, and I can't believe that we're just zooming right out of May into June, and this morning it was only 58 degrees up at the foothills in the lovely North Georgia, and where the original gold rush started, like basically almost in my backyard, that close. And of all the places for me to end up to live, outside of some really exotic, impossible kind of location, like, in Lightning Ridge or something, I feel real fortunate, and the magic of the universe put me right there in the heart. And I can feel all that energy around me of that original gold rush, the very first gold rush, the 1829ers. I tell you what, yeah, I could feel that around me. So there's an old grizzled miner in me in somewhere in the past, and there may be again yet. So, all right, good luck with the trivia. Thank you again, all of you, so much to support the show. Like and subscribe, as Miss Barbara says, and I will look forward to seeing you next Monday. And how about those prompt times that have been showing up for you? Cheers. Take care. Thanks.